Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and a puzzle by Akash Dulani, longtime friend of the channel, who says it took him 6 or 7 hours to make. Let us hope it doesn't take quite that long to solve. But I'm going to have a go at this. The clues outside the grid have two purposes, not just the one that the arrows would make it appear. So I will explain the rules in a moment. First of all, don't forget that Patreon is well worth joining. Our Cracking the Cryptic Patreon, loads of extra content every month, crosswords and Sudoku solves and spring packs from Sandra and Nala occasionally. That happened in April. So we've got loads of things going on Patreon. And of course, there's all our apps, which are great practice for, well, this sort of puzzle especially, sort of, I'm guessing, being Akash, that it's kind of medium difficulty, although the 6 to 7 hours thing worries me a bit. Akash he's created a wide variety of books. You can check them out on Amazon, actually, full of puzzles that vary in difficulty between pretty approachable and not too difficult, frankly. So really not a bad standard for practice and just working through some puzzles. Now, those are two of the things we've got in the description field. There's also links to Sven's SUDOKU PAD and our merchandise, so do check that all out. But the first link is to this puzzle called XSUM's Little Killer. And the rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so at least we're putting 1 to 9 in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. That's what we like to do. Now, a clue outside the grid has two functions. One is XSUMs, which looks down the row or column that the digit appears in. So the 36 is looking at this row, and it's saying that the first X digits from the clue add up to 36, where X is the first digit. So let's imagine that's a 6. Then those 6 digits add up to 36. That's what it's saying. If that was a 7, then the first 7 digits would add up to 36. That's XSUMs. Obviously, these are in the same column, so the first number of digits from that end equals 5, the first number of digits from that end, 28. And the X's will provide the numbers. I think I've done that enough. Little Killer is a bit more obvious in a way. The clue gives the sum of the indicated diagonal. So this time, those 5 cells add up to 36. They can include repeats. Indeed, I think they will have to there. And those are the rules. So give it a try on the link under the video. I am going to start now, just see how we go with this. Let's get cracking. So, I think because of the arrows, my mind is very much drawn to the diagonals first. Ah, yes, this 5 diagonal, we can just deal with that virtually. So think about how you can make up this 5 diagonal, and you are going to be using repeat digits. I think it is an absolute minimum. You can put 1 in those 2 places and a 1-2 pair there. Obviously these cells have to be different because they're in the same box, and you come to 5. So actually this 5 clue, we can just do it, look at the other aspect of the 5 clue, the XSUMs bit. Now, even if we hadn't put that 1 in there, we would know this wasn't a 1 because that would count 1 cell looking up here, and therefore the XSUM clue would have to be 1. Now, if this was a 3, we'd be counting at least 3 cells, which would have to add up to 6. So it's a 2 as the X, and then that's a 3. And there's a start. And we've kind of done this 5 clue. Maybe I will introduce a little X to say I've solved that clue fully. Now, let's look at this 14. Okay, that pair is either a 5-9 or a 6-8 pair to add up to 14. Then, I think this cell has to be 3 or 4. We've already had 1 and 2 in the bottom row. If it's a 3, I think this has to go 3, 2, 9. Because those 2 cells have to add up to 11 to get the 3 cells to add up to 14. If this is a 4, I think there are various ways of doing that. Do they all involve a 1? No, not necessarily. It could go 4, 2, 3, 5. Okay, so we can't get anything more out of that, I don't think. I was looking at that 10 clue and thinking that's not very helpful. This 10 clue looks better. Okay, I'm going to only write 2 and 3 in that cell as possible x's. And the reason is it can never be 1 unless the x sum clue is a 1. Here it could have been 2, 3 or 4, but a 4 would need these cells to be 1, 2, 3, 4, with that one being 4. And that would require this cell to be 1, 2 or 3, and they're the things it can't be. Actually, it would break this cell as well. Anyway, this can't be 4. So we've either got a 2 here and an 8 there, or a 3 here and a pair of cells that add to 7. Oh, and this 13 clue, looking at the x sum here, this is restricted too. It can't be a 2 because that cell would have to be an 11. It can be a 3. If it was a 4, doesn't any 4-cell sum that adds to 13 have to have a 1 in it? Yes, because 2, 3, 4 and 5 equal 14. So this 1 that we got early on is doing some good work. This becomes a 3. This becomes a 2. Now we can do an 8 to fulfill the 10 clue. This is still a pair. All we know is it's not 2, 8 now. These two cells add up to 10. They have to be even because they can't be 1, 9 or 3, 7. And they can't be 8, 2 one way round. So that's quite good progress. I don't get to put any more x's because I haven't done any clue completely. This 13 diagonal doesn't look all that helpful to me yet. Okay, so 14 is another low number. Looking down here, 14 is not that helpful on this diagonal because it's virtually the average number in a Sudoku. 5 is obviously the average digit, and 3 of them add up to 15. But 14 down here can't begin with 1 or 2, can begin with 3 or 4, can't go above that. Not just because of that 1, but 5 cells would always add up to at least 15. So if that's a 4, these have to be some combination of 2, 3, 5. If it's a 3, these two add up to 11. And that's on the 28 diagonal. Right, the 28 diagonal is interesting because its absolute maximum is a 9, 8 pair there and a 9 here. That's 26 plus 4 is 30. So that is quite limited. There's 2 degrees of freedom. So the 9 there could be knocked down by 1 or 2. 9, 8 here could be knocked down by 1 or 2, maybe to 9, 6. This could be a 4, 5 or 6, I think. Oh, no, hang on. It can't be a 6 anymore. Because, okay, the way to look at this column is to consider the secret that you might know, that every row, column and box adds up to the same number in Sudoku, and that number is, of course, 45. So well done if you know that. Now, what that means is that the digits in this column that are not in the 28 clue add up to 17 at the bottom, and they include these two, 5. So the others that add up to the rest of that 17 must add up to 12. Well, that can't be just one cell, so this can't be a 6. It could be 2 cells, although if it was, that would be a 5. They'd have to be, they couldn't have 5, 7 or 3, 9 in. They'd have to be 4, 8, and we would know which order they were in. But it could be a 4, in which case these add up to 12. Actually, then there'd have to be 1, 5, 6, I think. Yeah. Oh, what's with this 36 diagonal? Oh, I should have looked at that earlier. Right, 9, 8 there, 17. I'm looking at the max. Plus 9, 26. Plus 9, 38. Have I got that right? 17 plus 9. It doesn't feel right. It feels like it ought to be 35 up to that point. 9 and 8 is 17. Plus 9 is 26. Plus 9 is 35. I have got it right. Plus 2 is 37. So there's only 1 degree of freedom. From this being a 9, so 9 or 8. From this being a 9, well, that can't be 8, so that is 9 and doesn't use up the degree of freedom. And from these being 9, 8, so they're either 9, 8 or 9, 7, and they definitely include a 9. And I'll tell you what that does. That removes 9 out of there, and that has taken 1 of the degrees of freedom off this. These now are a maximum 4 and 8 is 12, so these are a minimum 16. So they definitely include a 9. Actually, we know where it goes since we got that one. It goes here. And that in turn places the 9 here. That's brilliant. Look at that. I love the flow of that. That's so clever. Oh, and this 9 is going to have an impact on this 14 clue. This can't be a 4 now, because you'd already be at 14 once you got those cells done. So this is a 3, and that's now a 2 to make these 3 add up to 14. Oh, this is now not a 9-5 pair since we got this 9, since we got all the 9s. This is a 1. Actually, that seems to have been doable for a while. Oh my goodness, this is great. There's a 3-2 pair in box 4 there. This must be 4, 5, 6 in the box, and these are from 1, 7, 8. Look at that stuff. Now, do we know that based on the 14 clue? Definitely not, I would say. There's 4, 5, and 7 to place in box 7. Now, a bit of Sudoku. There's a 1 somewhere there. Oh, there's a definite 3 right there. Oh, there's not much else we can do in Sudoku terms. Now, these 28s and 14s columns haven't really changed. This is only gonna, this has got 1 degree of freedom. I don't know what that means. This has got 1 degree of freedom as well. So maybe we can work something between them together. What is, this is either a 7 and a 9 or a pair of 8s. Oh, that's gorgeous. Okay, have a quick look, see why that can't be a pair of 8s. It's beautiful. That is beautiful. Because that would rule 8 out of all of these cells, but 8 has to be in one of these two. So that's lovely. So it doesn't disambiguate this 6, 8, but it does complete that diagonal, 7 and 9 there. And now look, this has become an 8, and if we use that in the row, the first 8 cells add up to 36, subtract from 45, and we can just whack a 9 in at the end. And actually, I might as well say that clue is fully done, because we've completed the diagonal, and however we fit in these Sudoku digits, it's going to be right here. Oh, that's now a 6. That's 8. 1, 9, 3, 8, 2. This is so clever. Oh, this clue is fully done as well, this 14 clue. Has this sorted itself out? No. This pair, though, can't be 3, 7 or 8, 2. Oh, it could still be 1, 9 or 4, 6 in one particular order each. What about this 13? 1, 2, 1, 1, 4. Adds up to 9. That's not actually that helpful. That's not a 7. These are from 4, 5, 6. 2 and 3 have to be in this group. There's a 9 in one of those 2 cells. 9, 3, 2, 1. There's an 8 definitely here. Oh, there's a 6 there. Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote the 4 and 6 the wrong way round here. I saw that 6 and then wrote the 4 and 6 in the wrong cells. So that's yeah, okay, that it doesn't help when you annotate incorrectly, but there we go. 5 and 7 still to place. This is hard to use, this 13 clue. Oh, we got this 8 now on this 28 diagonal. So those two add up to 11. They're either an 8-3 or a 7-4 pair. How does that play? I don't know. Okay, if this was a 4, that's very constraining on these cells. They would have to be 4 and 2, 3, 5 in some order. And it would make this a 5. What happened there when this was a 5? That meant that these two add up to 12, and they have to be 4 and 8. So there's a 4 here and a 4 here. Oh my goodness, it's about 8s, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 8s. Okay, here's what I should have said a moment ago that I didn't really think of at all. I'm just going to draw a little line. This 14 clue is definitely going to include those 3 cells. Oh, this is very clever. Now, you can know that 8 is not in those 3 cells, because if it was a 3 up here, these two would add up to 11, and you'd need another 3 if you were using an 8. If that was a 4 and you used an 8, the other 2 cells to make up the 14 total would both have to be 1s. Well, that doesn't make any sense, especially with the 1 in the column already. So there is no 8 in these cells. Now we know that in this box, 8 must be in one of these 2. Then 8's in one of these 2. And if that was a 5, we were going to need 8 specifically here, but this would be an 8-4 pair. Well, that cannot happen now. So this is not a 5. This is a 4. That's a 3. Let's get rid of the line. Done its job. Now, the diagonal can finish, first of all. 20 plus 8 gets us there. Then this column needs 7, 8, 9 in these cells. We know where the 9 goes, then we know where the 8 goes, then we know where the 7 goes. These, we know where the 1 goes in the column as well, actually. That can't be a 9. This is a 5, 6 pair. I'm not sure if there's a way of seeing how they disambiguate. I can't spot it yet. But this is now 9 in the central box. These two add up to 11. They're not 4, 7, they're not 3, 8, they're not 9, 2. They're 5, 6. 9, 1. This is 4 or 7. This is lovely. 3, 5, 6, 4, 9, 8. This is a 1, 2, 7 triple. 3's in one of those cells. These are from 4, 5, 6. There seems to be only one place for 7 in the box. This is a 2, 4, 8 triple. That one's not 8. Now, we've still got a 14. Oh, this, okay, I can stick an X there. Oh. There we go, pink. This clue is still to be done. I'm not going to risk... Oh, no, I can make this a 7, actually. If that was a 1, these two... Oh, no, these two add up to 13. I can't... Yes, okay, I can. I hadn't seen it, but I have now. If that was a 1, these two add up to 13 without using 9 or 8. They'd have to be 6, 7. But if that's a 1, that's already a 7. So this is not a 1. That's a 7. That's a 1. These two add up to 7 to make the 14 total work. That can't be a 6 anymore. This is 2 or 3. This is not a 7. This is not a 1. What's going on in row 6? If that was a 4, 6 pair, oh, that's lovely. If that's a 4, 6 pair, these two both have to be 5, or put another way, you can't get 2 and 8 into those 3 cells. So that is not a 4, 6 pair. We can just fill them in 8 and 2. That becomes a 4. That's not a 4. That's a 2. That's an 8. That's 3 and 2. We get the 3 in the central box. It's gorgeous, this. This is so neatly done. I mean, you can tell that this is a labour of absolute perfection. Well, I think you can. Right, let's hope it continues. Having said that, we've finished a lot of the clues, but I've still got that 10 diagonal. This 13 diagonal, okay, that's not a 7 on that 13 diagonal, because they would already add up to 11. So, the minimum here is 1, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. We've got 2 degrees of freedom left from the absolute minimum. And actually we haven't, because that can't be a 1. I hadn't spotted that. So this is going to have to be a 2, I think. Let me just check the maths. 1, 4 and 2 is 7. Plus that is 11, plus 1 is 12. There's 1 degree of freedom. That does have to be a 2 and doesn't take the degree of freedom. This is 1, 4 or 1, 5. So I'm putting 1 in there, 4 or 5 in there. And these two have to add up to 6 between them. And that's not finished. Okay. But that's a 1, 2 pair. This is 7. That's become a 3, so I finish off the 14 diagonal. That clue is fully complete. This digit, this column finishes 5 and 6, and this is a 2, 5 pair. And that's a 4, that's a 7 in the corner. That's not a 4, but that is at the bottom. This is a 5, 6, 9 triple. This is a 1, 4, 7 triple, maximum break. That one is not a 1, so we've still got this 10 sum to do and this 13 sum, and that's about it for the external clues. 3, 9, 1, 8, 7, 2. These are from 4, 5, 6. There's a triple, and that's key. That's absolutely key in the final column. That 4, 5, 6 triple. Or we could have seen it by saying where do 8 and 7 go, and they must go up at the top. That becomes a 1, that's a 9, and the 10 clues complete in every respect. That is not a 1 now, and that's not a 9. How are these not disambiguated? I don't know. But we need a 1 in one of those cells. 8, 7, 2. It must be finished now, surely. 1, 2, 8, 9. We need a 7 in, oh no, a 7 in this column. Okay, might still have to think about these two and how they interact, which is surprising, but again, would be very clever if that matters still. 2, 8, 7, 3, 4, 6. No, this is a naked single. That's the sort of clue we want to find. 6, 7, 3, 4, 8 in the row. 1, 2, 9 in the column. We can whack in a 5, and that is going to finish for us. So we get the last, well, we get the penultimate digit on this diagonal. Now we can just add it up and put a 4 in there, and that is the last clue fully complete. These can't have a 5 in, so that's a 6, that's a 4, 5 and 6. We need a 9 in the top row, 1 and 3 there. Everything is done down here. That's a 6. What have we got left? A 7 and a 5. That sorts out 6, 5, 6, 5. And then we can do 4, 5, 6. What a great puzzle. That's good fun. Super stuff from Akash Dulani, as you would expect, and just awesome, awesome good stuff. Thanks for watching as we complete these puzzles on the channel. It's always good fun and lovely to have you with us. Okay, I shall say bye for now.